Sports.
He was UCLA smart and Pasadena street tough, proud and handsome. The chosen one. Didn't get his chance till 28, prime years stolen, yet for 10 years, a dominant big league star. His crossing the color line was greeted with bold bigotry from fans, the press, opposing teams, and even his own Dodger teammates. His entire professional life riddled with hate and threats of death. All the while, his only emotional recourse in answering this inhuman test was to turn the other cheek. It demanded Herculean restraint. The only place for defiance and retribution was on the playing field, where Jackie could and did answer with aggression, hitting with authority and purpose, and sliding with menace. Oh yes, he played hard, all the while with a self-imposed governor on his heart. To verbally retaliate would undermine his cause. And he won. As sure as he stole home, Jackie stole prejudice from millions. His all-star excellence inspiring equality on and off the field. Sadly, he died young, only 53. No wonder. He lived with the enormous weight of fighting for every man's equal rights. Every man's. And he was still swinging at the very end.
And I have been moved by the cause that brings so many of you out day in and day out, putting your lives on the line so that America can be free.
So we pause today to salute an American hero, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, an American heavyweight champion, knocking out prejudice and helping to win this nation's social freedom.
Well, in Cincinnati and every major league ballpark all across America, we recognize number 42, whose jersey was retired by every major league club back in 19.
bicep go into the shoulder joint together. It's created some inflammation, a little bit of tug. Hopefully it won't last long.
Now, Justin Freeman has been brought up from AAA to pitch out of the bullpen. He had been closing down at Louisville. You can rest assured the Reds will make another roster move. Park tonight, and it is a lovely night. Not a So we get our first look at Ben Revere. Came over in a deal for Vance Worley from Minnesota. And a breaking ball in there. Strike, says Jim Joyce, and we're underway. Wally Bell at first. Ed Hickox, the umpire, at second. Is down at third. Revere speedy. Slap hitter. Not a very good on base percentage, but boy, once he gets on, he can cause a lot of problems. Already 5 stolen bases to begin this year. And that's not his game, lifting it in the air. Heisey's got it, 1 out. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by your Ford dealers. You've seen Heisey. Chew to his left. Jay Bruce to his left. Frazier, Cozart, Brandon, and Votto along the infield. Arroyo and Ryan Hannigan, the batter. Talented player Freddie Galvis just nowhere to play. He's played second, where he's in there tonight for Chase Utley. Plays short, but Jimmy Rollins is there, and also plays third, but now that belongs to Michael Young. 9 at-bats all year for Galvis. He has 3 hits.
Believe it or not, Freddie Galvis was the opening day starter for the Phillies last year, with Chase Utley having to start the season on the disabled list.
Phillies went 81 and 81 last year. They got off to a terrible start. And again, bear in mind, for the first 2.5, nearly 3 months, Charlie Manuel did not have Utley. He did not have Ryan Howard. From July the 13th on, they played like the Philadelphia Phillies. They were 14 games over 500, but far too little and way too late.
But as we know, Tom, and as the talk has been around here in Cincinnati, a win in April is just as important as it is in September.
Of course, the Reds are looking to try and end a 5-game losing streak. It was 1 week ago today. We were in St. Louis. Reds scored 9 runs in the 9th inning to batter the Cardinals, and they were 5-2. That was the last time they won a game.
And a tremendous homestand to begin the season, especially against the likes of the Angels and the Nationals. You wonder if the emotional high of that homestand or the drain took it out of them.
3-2 pitch and banged into center field, a base hit for Galvis. What a career as a Philadelphia Philly it has been for the man who walks to the plate now, Jimmy Rollins. One of the great players in the history of their franchise. He's played more games at short than anybody. Second all time in extra base hits, second in doubles, second in total bases, second only to Michael Jack Schmidt in games played. And he's in the top 3 in everything else. Hits, triples, stolen bases. But look at Brandon Phillips diving to his left and taking away a base hit for Jimmy Rollins.
Well, regardless of how the road trip went, this has not been an issue, and that is defense. The Reds have flashed Gold Gloves all over the place in this infield.
You and I were talking about Brandon Phillips and the way both he and Joey Votto go about their business every single day, hours and hours before every game.
Nobody sees the 60 to 70 ground balls that these guys take every day. And Brandon a lot of times taking a lot of ground balls with a glove that looks like a board just to soften his hands. Votto doing the same.
One more out to go here in the opening inning, and it looks like they're going to get Ryan Howard. First pitch swinging, fly ball. And Chu calling off Heisey, and the inning is over. Wynn pushed that ball towards left center field. One hit, a man left. Reds are coming up. by Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Red starting lineup tonight. Facing left-hander Chris Lee. Cliff Lee 2-0 on the year. Chu in center, Cozart at short, Votto at first. Phillips at second, Jay Bruce in right, Todd Frazier at third. Chris Heisey, Ryan Hannigan, Bronson Arroyo, the latter third. Cliff Lee 2-0, 2 starts, has allowed 2 earned runs.
And doesn't walk anybody. This guy has yet to put anybody on base with the free pass. Last year, led the major leagues in the fewest walks per 9 innings pitched. He's going to throw strikes. The Reds will need to be ready to swing the bat.
Chu to lead it off. And it's in there, a strike. He has reached base safely in every Reds game. .354 batting average, 3 home runs, 3 doubles, 7 runs batted in. Straight away center field. 1 out. Philadelphia on defense, presented by your Ford dealers. Revere in center, Dominic Brown in left, and Lance Nix in right. Ryan Howard, Freddie Galvis, Jimmy Rollins, Michael Young coming over from Texas, now their third baseman. And while their catcher Carlos Ruiz serves a 25-game suspension to begin the year, it's Eric Katz hanging a sign for Cliff Lee. There are very few catchers the size of Eric Kratz. Big man.
He is a monster. And if you leave it in the wrong place, he can hit it like a monster.
0-2 to Zach Cozart. Hard to believe Cliff Lee last year won 6 games. Lost 9.
He had 9 consecutive no decisions to start the season.
Cowboy brought up earlier. Led the major leagues in fewest walks per 9 innings. Led all major league pitchers in strikeout to walk ratio. Top 10 in the National League in ERA and strikeouts. His last 9 starts of last year, he struck out 65 and walked 4 batters.
I said he was no decision through his first 9 starts. He was winless through his first 9 starts and an ERA under 3.
Look at that. 3rd win the last week of August.
No run support.
Short right center. Revere will track it down, and the first 2 Reds retired here in the opening inning.
Well, fly balls in the outfield right now they're doing some different things than what we were used to seeing here at Great American Ballpark. That ball that Chu caught was all the way over in left field, and the last 2 balls have had some movement to it. Wind must be gusting a little bit out there.
2 down and on. Joey Votto clubbed his first home run since June of last year. Came in the 9th inning yesterday over the Pirates to deep right center field.
And it was a tape measure shot.
2-0.
Well, wouldn't you know it? Strike 1 to every batter. The first 2 batters, Votto gets to the plate 2-0. 20 walks. What's new?
And what else is new? A base hit into center field on a 2-0 pitch.
Looked like a breaking ball, Tom, and it was up. It would have been a strike either way, and Votto just takes it right back up the box.
Very few batters naturally around all the baseball have had a lot of success against Cliff Lee. Joey Votto has won now 6 out of 14. Brandon Phillips not too bad either. 8 hits, 26 at bats, .308 average, with a home run and 4 runs batted in. In the air down the right field line and unreachable.
Cliff Lee works awfully fast, can throw 3 pitches for a strike, and almost to a given batter one of the first 2 pitches, save for Joey Votto, is going to be over the plate. And if you're going to get him, you look for the fist, you look for the pitch out over the plate early in the count.
Those are the numbers for Phillips against Lee. Fastball up and away, but a good start to this year for Phillips. No 2 ways about that. Team leader 4 home runs. Team leader 14 runs batted in.
And that's after starting the season in the number 2 spot right out of the gate until midway through the first game when Ryan Ludwig got hurt.
That is a fair ball. And a force out will end the inning. A hit, a man left. We played 1. And we are scoreless in Cincinnati. Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. 1-800-ELK-OHIO. You talk about early season oddities. Take a look at some of these. Joey Votto, more white walks in the entire White Sox team. Justin Upton already with as many or more home runs than over a third of the teams. And RBIs, Buck, Davis, Fielder, 19, the same number as the Marlins.
I've got to believe Justin Upton's got a little chip on his shoulder after the trade and the way things went down during the offseason.
Down there with those red-hot Atlanta Braves. I mean, how about their start? Swept the Nationals over the weekend, 11-1. Major League Baseball's best record by far. Old teammate of yours for a while, Cowboy, and I know you're a big fan. First season, after leaving the Rangers through all those great years, Michael Young.
He has always, from day one, been a team-first guy. Came up as a shortstop. The Rangers had Alex Rodriguez. So what did he do? He moved to second. They get Ian Kinsler. He moves to third. They get Adrian Beltre. He moves to first and DH. His contract is up. What do they do? Bye. Bummer. Tell you what, I'll take him in the clubhouse or on the field any day, anytime.
Off to a good start with his new team is Young. 357 batter, a home run, 5 runs batted in. Boy, he has had an outstanding major league career. Quietly so. Certainly not a household name, maybe outside of Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm not suggesting people don't know who he is, but he's not one of the guys that comes to mind when you say, hey, pick the top 10 players over the last 10 years. He'd have to be in that group.
He's never been a guy that just flocks to the media to pump himself up. Just does his job.
Strike 3 called on the breaking ball by Arroyo.
slow breaking ball, and when you're facing Bronson right out of the gate, tough to pull the trigger on that.
So now Dominic Brown, 25 years old, once considered Major League Baseball's #1 prospect. I don't mean for the Phillies, I mean for anybody. And many feel this is his final shot to prove he can do it at the big league level, at least in a Phillies uniform. Lazy pop up. Cozart out to get it, 2 away.
Well, the first thing that Bronson Arroyo visualized from Dominic Brown was that front shoulder when he started him with a first pitch changeup. Dominic, you could see the whole front part of his body. So instead of going to a fastball or anything that would be inside, he gives him another changeup and he hits it off the end of the bat. Young players fall into that trap a lot, wanting to hit the ball out of the ballpark every time they come to the plate.
So now 32-year-old native Texan Lance Nix spent 2009 and 2010 with the Reds, part of their National League Central Division Championship team in 2010, and he had a lot to do with it.
Well, he plays hard, does what he's asked to do, and I don't know that you can ask for much more for a guy that's coming off your bench and is not a regular everyday player.
Of course, at one time, many believed that Nix was going to be an everyday player for long days in Texas. Wasn't even 23 years old, was playing center field for him every day, had a terrible crash into an outfield wall, injuring his shoulder, and has really never been the same guy since.
No, and that happens, Tom. You get that injury before you're ever able to give your full effort on the field, but you've got to admire the comeback of Nix. He's made the most of his career, even having the shoulder issue. I mean, he is built big time.
2-2.
Not too many players, whether they play baseball or football, have the body of this guy. He is ripped.
Well, that Philadelphia Eagles defense could have used him last year. Look out in the stands. Broken bat goes flying into the seats, and thankfully it landed in one of the aisles and not in a seat. Good thing. They make sure to take advantage of the Reds. 4 for 48 ticket offer, plus the first 8,000 kids 14 and younger get a Reds sports band thanks to Tire Discounters. Reds and Marlins beginning on Thursday, a 4-game series. 381 Reds, a number to dial, or log on to reds.com/tickets. Beautiful night for baseball here in Cincinnati, and the Cowboy is in the house tonight. Welcome back to the TV booth, young man.
It's good to be back with you, partner.
Good to have you. You're looking mighty dapper tonight.
Well, I'm working on it.
I know your family's watching the ball game down in Mississippi.
Yes, they are. Ashley and Mason and Elizabeth all glued to the TV to see Daddy.
It's a good deal.
Probably checking out as we started. My son always thinks I'm waving. I'm holding the mic.
Well, you're allowed to wave to him. You know he's watching. I mean, it's all right. Nobody's going to hold that against you.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Fair enough. First pitch swinging and banged into left field. That's a nice piece of hitting right there by Jay Bruce, and he's aboard to begin the bottom of the second inning of a scoreless game.
That's how you beat Cliff Lee, and the reason I say that, if you attack on the first pitch, it starts to make Cliff Lee move to the corners, and when he moves to the corners, it's not as consistent of a strike, so it doesn't allow him to get ahead so early so often.
It's only Jay's fourth hit in 17 career at bats against Lee. Todd Frazier has only seen him 3 times and has a hit. That was a double. Strike one. Hit hard into deep right center field. This will be caught. A diving play by Revere. And they are going to double up Jay Bruce. A simply spectacular play by Ben Revere, the Philadelphia center fielder. Oh, my goodness, what a play.
Well, that young man just showed off the kind of speed that he has. Never in my wildest dreams did I think he would get to that baseball. But the Reds just met Ben Revere. Yow! That's as far as you can extend full dive, full effort.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You will be hard-pressed to find what the nearly 10,000 games that are going to be played all over Major League Baseball, to find a play the rest of this year better than that. Heisey pops it up. Take a look at this one more time. You're going to see it all over the place for the next 24 hours. That is simply spectacular. Plays John Simon on the D-line for the Buckeyes. We're talking about Adolphus Washington out of Taft High. Hal McCoy offers up his thoughts on whether Major League Baseball should retire number 14 in honor of Larry Doby. Bengals are back at work, the first OTA. All that on FoxSportsOhio.com, brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe, spend less. Hard to believe the Reds are not up at least 1-0 in this game, but what a play by Ben Revere.
You look at Jay Bruce and you think that was a tremendous read. He was rounding almost halfway between second and third, would have easily scored. You know, Tom, you throw strikes, you work quick as a pitcher, you keep your infielders and outfielders on their toes. And man, was Revere on his toes there.
Begin the third inning, scoreless game. Erik Kratz, 32 years old, been in the minor leagues for a long time. Before this year, actually before last year, he had only played in 11 major league games. Fly ball into center field. Shoes got it. Kratz got 50 games with the Phillies last year. Did a pretty good job. Hit 9 home runs in those 50 games.
He's always had trouble with the breaking ball, but you leave a fastball out there for him, it's upper deck.
Cliff Lee is 1 out of 6 as a batter so far this year with an RBI. And Arroyo going to work with 1 away and nobody on. Strike 1.
Two very quick working pitchers today. Arroyo from the Red side, Cliff Lee from the Phillies, and they throw strikes. That's why they've been around the big leagues forever.
Because Arroyo has been the Iron Man since the Reds acquired him for Willie Mo Pena and money back in 2006 from the Boston Red Sox. Among all major league pitchers, all of them. As that one's in the air to right. Playable for Bruce, 2 away. Arroyo second among all major league pitchers in wins since that time. First in starts. He's never missed a start, minor leagues or major leagues. And second in innings. Second only to Matt Cain since the 2006 year.
It's awfully difficult to get a starting pitcher this day and age that you know you can count on giving you 200 innings year in and year out. And the only year that you could say Bronson didn't get there was the 199 inning year. And in my mind, that doesn't really count.
No, that was a year in 2011. You may remember Arroyo came down with valley fever while spending time in spring training out in Arizona, which will happen to folks in that part of the country. A respiratory infection. Had a bad back the whole year. Just had a bad year.
And there were a lot of people that said, well, just take a couple of weeks off or a month off and try to get yourself back together. But when you're in the situation that Bronson was in, the team's winning, you're trying to move yourself forward. What are you going to do? He's a leader on the ball club. He took the ball every 5th day.
1-2 on Revere. 2-2.
I think you have to really admire what Bronson Arroyo has done since coming to the Reds, and doing it by just pitching, the ultimate art of pitching, adding and subtracting.
The entire Reds defense made 2 steps towards a first base dugout, meaning they thought it was strike 3. Count rather is 3-2 on Revere. And Arroyo now the payoff pitch. Fly ball short right center, and Bruce, a good jump, and the inning is over.
Well, he can play some defense. He gets a great 2 steps.
That if a Red hits a home run out on that Toyota sign tonight, William Lake from Union, Kentucky will win the beautiful new Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. Why not register for your chance to win in an upcoming game? To stop by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer.
The ball that Joey Votto hit in Pittsburgh, albeit in a losing cause yesterday, that would have been pretty close to that Toyota sign.
Before we go any further into this game, I know on behalf of all of us with the Reds, Fox Sports Ohio, our thoughts and prayers and our condolences to what happened today in Boston. Finish line of the Boston Marathon. So sad. Ball in the air, right center field, and Revere still drifting, and he makes another spectacular play. This one crashing into the wall.
Well, you could see the smile on Jimmy Rollins' face as he took the throw back in from the outfield. Just in amazement of what this kid's done here just in the last inning. My goodness.
Last 3 batters.
I mean, we're not talking about pop-ups either. These balls have been tagged.
Oh, 2 on Bronson Arroyo. By the way, the Reds issued a statement today. Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families affected by today's events in Boston. The Reds say as their strike 3, while we will not comment specifically on security in Great American Ballpark, the Reds assure our fans that their safety always has been and always will be the #1 priority of our staff and that of local law enforcement agencies. In fact, Phil Castellini had met with all the security folks before the ball game today, after the initial word and the initial shock became known regarding today in Boston. Strike 1 to chew.
Well, unfortunately, in our world today, you can never be too careful.
Nope.
There are those out there that want to bring harm to others, and you just have to think ahead. Sometimes even that's not enough.
A lot of plain evil in this world. And if you don't believe it, You might want to think about it.
That was an emergency swing there from Choo on the 2-strike breaking ball. Appeared to be a ball to the last second, and he got the bat head there.
That one nearly got it.
Choo has been no stranger to being hit by the pitched ball here early in the season.
Speaking of a hit batter, the Dodgers and the Padres will meet later tonight for the first time since Zach Greinke hit Carlos Quentin, who charged the mound, and Quentin will not play in that series, serving a 8-game suspension. Greinke out with a broken collarbone. 3-2 on Choo.
Well, you have to hope that cooler heads will prevail. Choo's been hit 7 times, by the way, already during game 13. They need some full body armor before we get to the break.
Line, and this one will fall in front of Ben Revere.
Well, folks, you've just seen what we've been watching from Shin-Soo Choo, and very indicative of how he takes his at-bats each and every time at the plate. An 0-2 count. Works it all the way back to 3-2. He didn't hit that ball right on the perfect part of the bat, but as you could see, that pitch was inside. He was still able to get his hands inside the ball, get a good enough part of the bat to it to get it into the outfield for a base hit.
Ball 1 to Kozar. Reds have hit some balls hard here tonight. Votto a base hit. Bruce a line drive into left. Frazier that drive on the great diving catch by Revere. Hannigan a moment ago. Now Choo. But no runs. Started 2, laid off. They appeal, and no. 2-0 on Kozar.
This is the time and place where you can't feel sorry for yourself. You can't say woe is me and breaks aren't going our way. You have to continue to battle and create those breaks for yourself.
Easy try for Revere this time, and that'll do it. A hit a man left. 10-3. No score from Great American Ballpark. Presented by Dinsmore and Scholl. The world of autographs. Over 1,500 autographs on all kinds of equipment. Why not plan your next visit? 765-7923 or log on to redsmuseum.org.
Reds almost had an unfortunate incident there. Hannigan threw the ball down to second base. A perfect throw right on the bag. And Brandon Phillips did not realize it was coming, and it almost hit him in the knee. He moved right at the last second. That would not have been pretty.
No. So here we go in inning number 4. No score. Philadelphia with 1 hit. That was from the man who leads things off here in the 4th. Freddie Galvis had a single to center in the opening inning. Steve Reich 1. Rollins to follow, and then Ryan Howard. Had him way out in front, rolls over one at Brandon, 1 away.
That was a straight change by Bronson Arroyo. I've seen him use that more in the spring training of this year in Arizona and in his first 2 starts, more than I've seen him use it at any point in time. And it's a valuable weapon for him as long as he continues to mix in the fastball.
Rollins had a base hit taken away on a great play made by Brandon Phillips, diving to his left in the opening inning. Phillies primarily wear that off-colored red. Their gray unis, a little bit of blue. The stars dotting the I's, blue wristbands, and then there are blue shoes. Votto will beat Rollins to the bag, 2 away. We'll get down to the Holy Grail at the Banks this Friday, and if you show up at 6, you'll test your knowledge and win some great prizes. You might be featured on Reds Live. Be part of the fun Friday at 6 at the Holy Grail on the Banks.
Every time I go by there, that place is happening. There's a line out the door. The place to be.
Got all those new restaurants and bars and condos, apartments right there next to the ballpark.
Seems like there's a new restaurant popping up at the Banks every time you turn around.
2 down for Ryan Howard. He flied out to center field his first time up, strike 1. Howard, you may remember in 2011, that National League Division Series, a losing series to the Cardinals for the Phillies. Final play of the series, ruptured his Achilles tendon. He did not return until July the 6th of last year. And by then, the Phillies were already 13 games out of first place. 1-2.
And you can see when he is running now the effects of that injury. I don't know that he'll ever be back to the way that he ran before. He's able to hit the ball fine and able to move around on the field, but the running, you can definitely tell.
High fly ball, pretty well hit. Left field. Heisey with room. Inning over. 1, 2, 3, 4 Arroyo. Reds will bat. Votto, Phillips, and Bruce coming up in a scoreless game. dealer or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. Well, this year, Fox Sports Support's proud to partner with Stomp Out Bullying, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the U.S., focusing on preventing bullying and all forms of digital abuse. To learn how you can help, please visit stompoutbullying.org. Cliff Lee climbs a hill, will face the heart of the Reds order. No runs, 3 hits, 2 left for Cincinnati. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left on base for the Phillies against Bronson Arroyo. Votto has 1 of the 3 hits. Joey got him on a 2-0 pitch on a base hit into center field his first time up. And now the 1-0. A ball and a strike.
Talking about stomp out bullying, Tom, whatever happened to just being nice or treating others the way you wanted to be treated? I mean, isn't that what you were taught?
No doubt about it. 1-2. But boy, you hear some of the stories, you tragically read about them each and every day, whether it's
nightmarish
physically or whether it's on the internet.
I know. Just stop it.
Still 1-2 to Votto. Story tonight has been young Ben Revere. Grew up just down the road in Lexington, Kentucky. Graduated in 2007 from Lexington Catholic High School. 2-time Kentucky Baseball Player of the Year. And he has made 2 unbelievable plays here tonight. Votto knew that was strike 3. 1 out.
A little more aggressive pitching this go round by Cliff Lee to Joey Votto. Breaking balls early, paints the fastball, just catching the outside corner with that pick.
Lee now with a pair of strikeouts in the game, and here's Brandon Phillips.
Tom, you look back on some of the games from Cliff Lee, not only the first couple of starts here in 2013, but really throughout his career. He's going to give up some hits, but he's going to make you earn it. Not going to give you a free pass.
Tapper to Galvis, 2 gone. Well, perhaps some of you just tuning in, and maybe you're just becoming a baseball fan and you're wondering why everybody is wearing number 42. For the rest of you out there that know all about it, you certainly know today is Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. Bud Selig back in 1997 retired Jackie Robinson's number 42 for every team in baseball. And the only player left still wearing that number is in his final year in the big leagues, Mariano Rivera. Fittingly, the greatest closer in the history of the game. And there won't be anybody else wearing that number from now on. They grandfathered it in. Bruce, a fly ball to center, and that sat right through the heart of the order without a bang. Go to the 5th, no score. would imagine tonight will be a very special night on Jackie Robinson Day at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. That's where later tonight the Dodgers will host the San Diego Padres. Of course, the Dodgers were still playing in Brooklyn in 1947 when Jackie Robinson played Major League Baseball for the first time. And that leads us to our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Who was the last Reds player to wear number 42 in a season? Where's that movie, The Jackie Robinson Story, 42? He is out in theaters all over America right now.
Mike Jackson?
That's what I was thinking. But I bet it was later than that. Because he was on that team with you in 1995, right? He was your setup guy. And a good one.
Yeah. Best slider I've ever seen.
Michael Young to lead things off against Arroyo here in the 5th inning. No score in the game.
Michael Young very quiet at the plate, and by that I mean he doesn't show you a whole lot of movement from the pitcher's perspective. Keeps his hands still, his body still, and then just reacts at the last and final second.
Thought I read somewhere earlier where your old teammate Mike Jackson was the last Philadelphia Phillies player to wear number 42. He was grandfathered in.
Yes.
So he was allowed to continue his career wearing that number.
I think he wore it with the Mariners. He wore it when we were teammates in San Francisco. I know he wore it when he was here.
3-2 now on Michael Young.
And obviously in Philadelphia as well.
One run and fouled out of play. I guess technically, if you're talking about being in a Phillies uniform, Galen Cisco, who still lives up in St. Mary's, Ohio. He was the last Philly to wear the number in 1997. Now, the 97 rule was grandfathered, meaning a player who had worn the number could retain it until that player retired. So Mike Jackson, who signed as a free agent, as there's a base hit into center field back in the year 2000, but he did not pitch in a game that year due to injury. So as far as being on a roster with that number, Jackson was the last one, but in uniform was pitching coach Galen Cisco.
He was my pitching coach there.
Now Dominic Brown, only the second hit of the game, second base runner of the game for the Phillies against Arroyo, who works out of the stretch for the first time since the first inning. Strike one to Dominic Brown.
You see the difference in a young Dominic Brown and the movement that he shows you at home plate versus the veteran Michael Young, who is very quiet at the plate, doesn't show you a whole lot of body movement. As a pitcher, you want him to move around. That gives you an idea about what you're going to throw on the next pitch. Front shoulder wide open. I'm going away. You keep that front shoulder in. Well, I'm coming in.
Breaking ball off the outside corner. 2-1 to Dominic Brown. Brown was coming up in a Phillies system we told you earlier was among the top rated prospects in all of baseball, compared to Giancarlo Stanton and Jason Hayward. I mean, guys like that are now established, very good if not great players. Tapper, Frazier will get the out at second, one away in the inning. Cardinals not fooling around tonight in Pittsburgh. They got a run in the first. Pirates tied it in the bottom of the first. The Cardinals put up a 7 spot since then and lead 8-1 that game in the third inning. Lance Nix shoots one into left center field. That'll fall at a hit. Brown advancing on to second. 2 on, 1 out in the inning.
Well, after the first at bat for Nix, where he rolled over the breaking ball to Brandon Phillips, this time he stays right inside of it. See where that ball starts, way off the plate away. Nix sees it as an off speed pitch, goes right out and get it as it approaches the outside corner. He didn't hit it hard, but he hit it just enough right off the end of the bat for a base hit. That Performance Honda Expo replay, courtesy of Performance Honda.
Wow, how about that? Right out of the gate, you're all over it. Tell you, the sales guys, they can try and throw you for a loop, but brother, it's just not going to happen.
Stop it. We need a double play, partner. Big Eric Kratz.
Flied out to center field, his first time up, his only time up. 2 on, 1 out. Breaking ball low.
Didn't really have much of a double play threat with Dominic Brown at the plate. Lance Nix can run a little bit. With the catcher Kratz, who can get the ball on the ground in the infield. Got a golden opportunity, and Arroyo could use that right here.
You wanted the double play ball. There's one. Ask him, ye shall receive.
Pretty good play all the way around. Nice turn by Phillips. Nice pick by Votto. And a good throw and good play by Mr. Frazier.
Year presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. That's coming up this week, the 18th through the 21st. It'll be the Reds and the Marlins Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know the deal. $48. You get 4 view level tickets and a voucher for 4 orders of boneless wings. How about that, Cowboy?
I like it.
The Blazing Reds 4 for 48. April the 18th through the 21st. 381 Reds, the number to dial. Anything to do with boneless wings and you like it.
I love it.
We ask you, who was the Reds' last player to don the number 42 for Jackie Robinson? And the answer is Roger Salkill. Wow. Would have never gotten that one.
Played with him, but didn't know he had 42.
He made 29 appearances that year for the Reds, 19 of them as a starter. Todd Frazier to lead things off, Chris Heisey and then Ryan Hanigan to follow. No score. Arroyo v. Cliff Lee here tonight. Frazier was the one that hit that rocket into right center field. And perhaps the best play that'll be made in baseball this entire year was turned in by Ben Revere. It looked like a double in the alley, and it looked like a run would score on the play. Swing and a miss, and Frazier gone on strikes. And if you weren't with us, here it is, real speed.
So many times, Tom, I think you get caught up in the speed of the player and not just those first couple of steps. And this guy, Revere, not only gets the quick break on the ball, but has the speed to go with it to cover the excess ground.
He runs like one of those Lexington thoroughbreds that are rounding the track down there at Keeneland right now.
I didn't think he had any chance at all to get to that ball.
No. And we have a pretty good view up here.
Yes, we do.
Two 2-0 on Chris Heisey. He popped up to Freddie Galvis, the second baseman, his first time up. Certainly are a lot of areas where the Reds need improvement. Their starting pitching has not been all that good. Their relief pitching has been spotty at best. Already of their 7 losses, 5 of them have been hung on the bullpen. But from an offensive standpoint, left field is an area that needs to begin producing. Granted, you're only 12 games into the year. You lost Ryan Ludwig on opening day, but we brought it up. Second day of the year, this is Heisey's big shot right here and right now. That ball hit hard, but bad luck for him, and it nearly airmailed Dominic Brown. 2 away in the inning.
Part of the reason, Tom, that you want to have some regular production out of your left field spot is because you're so used to having that production from a guy like Ryan Ludwig. Not only does it help you in the individual ball games, but it helps you confidence-wise going into the game. Everybody's comfortable, and you don't have to have a revolving door in left field and wonder who's playing, who's sitting, what's going on.
I mean, really, you've got 3 positions right now in this Reds lineup, and that doesn't even include the pitcher, that are having a very hard time getting base hits. Cozart has 7. Heisey has 7. And Hanigan has 2.
Well, the other ball that you saw Revere catch off the wall came off of this guy's bat on a first pitch fastball, drove it all the way to the right center field wall. No luck involved there.
Still a ball and 2 strikes on Hanigan. Each team with 3 hits. Each team has left 2 men on base. Neither team has scored. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning.
A few more breaking balls this time around for Cliff Lee. Getting ahead with the fastball, establishing the fastball early in the ball game, getting hitters to look for that fastball. Now he's starting to go to the off-speed stuff.
Two and two. Well, the Reds are hoping to get right on this homestand. I mean, you don't take anybody for granted, not when you've started slow out of the gate. Phillies a 500 team in for 3. The Marlins have had a rough start. They're in for 4, and then the Cubs are here for 3. Hit hard, but right at the right fielder Nicks, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 for a second straight inning. Still no score. Felt something. You can see him wincing in pain, and a short while later removed himself from the ball game, and it's diagnosed as a strained lat. What does that mean, Cowboy, and how you move forward?
I think the big thing for Cueto is not only is it in the lat part of the muscle, which is up here, but it's also the tricep, and they go together as they enter the shoulder. A lot of it has to do with the pronation of the arm, not only on the fastball, but Johnny throws a lot of changeups, and turning it over really gets that area right there, not only with extension but also cutting the ball off. The big question for Johnny is going to be when he comes back, how that affects him, not only with the fastball but his money pitch, which is the changeup.
Well, the Reds are hoping it's only a couple of weeks, 15 days on that disabled list. That remains, of course, to be seen. We certainly hope that's the case. Now, the Reds brought up Josh Freeman from the minor leagues. He works out of the bullpen, and so he would be available today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And the Reds will undoubtedly make a roster move prior to the series opener against the Marlins. And we'll replace Cueto in the rotation with this guy, and I don't know if there's been a better pitcher in all of professional baseball at any level than Tony Cingrani.
Closer in college. We saw a little bit of him last year. Very aggressive, not intimidated at this level at all. That is a plus, especially for a young pitcher. Now that he's been extended into that 6-7 inning mark, Reds would really like to have him be able to do that at this level in a starting role. The question is going to be, How much progress has he made on the breaking ball from last year to now?
And if you're wondering why he only went 2 innings of the game yesterday, that's because the Reds had made the decision already that they were going to have to make a move. They needed somebody to fill Cueto's roster spot. They knew he was going to go on the DL.
By design, you don't want to skip him and have him have 10, 11 days off. You want him to be able to at least get some throwing in, get extended, then have his time here.
Second strikeout of the game by Bronson Arroyo, and now we begin the third time through the batting order of this scoreless game here in the 6th inning. Ben Revere is fly to left and fly to right. And made the biggest play on defense of this entire game. Took away a double that would have been an RBI for Todd Frazier.
Third time around for Bronson Arroyo. This is where he ran into trouble against the Cardinals.
Arroyo gonna barehanded. Good play by Arroyo, who's a former Gold Glove winner, for his defensive prowess from the pitcher's spot.
Wow, Revere can really run. This was not an extraordinary special bunt. Just got it down the first baseline, and for a lot of guys with speed, Tom, all you ask as a hitting coach is just get the ball down and use your wheels. Well, he did it there and almost beat it out.
So 2 down now for Galvis, who has one of the 3 Philadelphia base hits. It was a single to center in the opening inning. Arroyo got him to roll over a ground ball to Brandon Phillips in the 4th.
It's one thing, Tom, to know that you're facing a starting pitcher that throws a lot of breaking balls and a lot of off-speed stuff, and then try to make contact with it. Your muscle memory is so key to hitting a pitcher that's throwing 90 miles an hour. Short, quick to the ball. Sometimes being short, quick to the ball against Arroyo makes you pop it up. The bat's already there, your body's going forward, and the ball's not there yet.
Straight away center field. But Chu is there, and the inning is over. That had a lot of top spin on it. Still no score. Reds coming up in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Kentucky Honda dealers, and here's your Honda game summary. First inning. Reds flash in 11. Brandon taking away a hit for Jimmy Rollins. But then with 1 on and nobody out, Frazier looked like a sure double. Spectacular play by Ben Revere. They doubled up Jay Bruce. An inning later, Hannigan drove one to the wall in right center, and again Revere there to get it. Then the Reds with 2 on and 1 out in the 5th. Around the horn to get out of the inning. And we're set to begin the bottom of the 6th inning, and neither team with a run on the board. Bronson looked at strike 3 his first time up. Top of the order next, Choo and then Kozai.
Lee about to throw his 60th pitch here tonight. 59th, excuse me, of the night. He has been quite efficient.
Pulled foul. Lee has still not walked a batter this entire year. 21 2/3 innings. He has struck out 17 without a walk.
I don't care how good of control that you have. That is a phenomenal feat.
That ball hit the ground. That is not strike 3. Arroyo is still in the batter's box. Home plate umpire saying that ball hit the ground. Lee now for the second time going back to 2009 has gone 163 plus batters, now 165 on his current run without a walk. I was there the night Greg Maddux ended at
the 244.
244.
You can see Bronson get out, tips the ball just slightly. Now if the catcher makes the catch cleanly, Arroyo is out via the strikeout. But if it hits the ground, 1 hops don't count, but that one does there.
You know, I want to say, in my memory, I mean, that's going back a while now. It's, 7 baseball seasons ago.
Talking about with Maddux?
Yeah. No, he had another long one. It wasn't that one of 244. That was 07. You and I were back working for the Reds by then.
The incredible part about Maddux is that he threw not only strikes, but he threw strikes with a moving fastball, a cutting fastball, the changeup. I mean, it was just every pitch he threw had some part of the home plate.
Former teammates Lee and Choo, and it's 0-2. Choo 1 of 2, had a single his last time up. Seems like 1,000 years ago Lee was pitching for the Indians. That was only in 2009, but he's been with the Phillies, the Mariners, the Rangers, then the Phillies again since then. Off the body of Lee, right to Galvis. Bad luck for Choo and the Reds. It should have been hit number 2 tonight for Choo.
Well, the Reds have put the bat on the baseball from the get-go, and you can see this here. A breaking ball hits right back off the left leg of Lee, goes right to Freddie Galvis. A great reaction play for Galvis by coming in on the ball. Normally you would be headed towards second base or up the middle for that ball, but Galvis able to react quickly and still get Choo. Then you talk about the 2 balls that were ripped into center field, and the Reds came up with 0 there. You got to keep plugging away.
So now Kozai off the end of the bat, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 for the 3rd straight inning. We go to the 7th. Still no score.
As we move on to the 7th inning, Jim Day with you. We're in the press box, and I'm sitting next to Assistant Media Relations Director Larry Herms, who normally has a full head of hair. But Larry and a lot of Reds employees shaved their heads today. Why? And a salute and support for Reds employee Chris Harrell. Perhaps you've heard the story, needing a bone marrow transplant. And tomorrow he will start chemotherapy. And a bunch of Reds employees got together to support Chris and got their heads shaved before Chris has to endure the chemotherapy, which starts tomorrow. They took a group photo, a employee photo, lots of signs, thinking about Chris every day. Just a terrific thing for the Reds employees to do. And everyone from Fox Sports Ohio and the Reds family, we send out our best to Chris Harrell. Buddy, I know you're probably watching. We're with you. Stay strong, guys.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Chris and I were coaching basketball teams against one another this year. He had that Milford group, and he just heard the news and was out looking for a donor. We understand the donor was matched all the way over in Germany.
Wow.
So, Chris, our thoughts and prayers are indeed with you.
Well, you think about the situations with Mark Berry and his family, and Chris, thank the good Lord for your blessings.
No doubt about that. Well, apparently, you know, like your little one at home, when they see those new pair of sneakers and they're like, Daddy, they make me run really fast.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, apparently, there's a ground ball to Votto and throws it over to Arroyo. The last time up when Rollins hit that ball down to Votto and Votto beat it to the bag, apparently those blue shoes did not make him run fast enough. So he went in to get those white ones in between innings. Look at those babies.
Yes, he did. You know, I remember a receiver many years ago playing for the Houston Oilers.
We know who he is.
Billy White Shoes Johnson.
Yeah.
And he could low fly, as they say.
He was something.
No doubt about it.
Not only receiver, but also returning kicks and punts. Now Ryan Howard pulled to Votto. And here you are, Rollins and Howard to begin the inning, and you get a pair of quick outs. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, that is the object for Bronson Arroyo. When you can't throw the ball 95 miles an hour, you keep the opposition off balance and try to get them to roll over the pitches or be out in front of them and pop them up. So far, so good for Bronson here tonight.
So now Michael Young, who has struck out and singled into center field. Scoreless in the 7th. 2 out, nobody on, and Young waiting. Breaking ball in there, strike. Reds will have Votto, Phillips, Bruce, 3, 4, and 5 in their lineup. Coming up in the bottom of the inning. Strike 2. Sounded like a broken bat off the end of the bat. Yep, he'll go get a new one.
That's the first fastball that Michael Young has seen from Bronson here tonight. It was 89 miles an hour up and away, and Young not taking any chances on that ball coming back to the outside corner for strike 3.
He went around on the appeal to Wally Bell. How about that 7th inning for Arroyo? Not a ball leaves the infield against Rollins, Howard, and Young. Reds trying to break through in the bottom of the 7th. along with you. MLB.TV, the way to do it. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. All right, heart of the order coming up for the Reds. No runs, 3 hits for the Phillies. 2 men left on base. Those totals identical for the Redlegs against Cliff Lee.
And at this point, Tom, neither pitcher showing any signs of fatigue.
Votto single to center and struck out looking. Lee with straight 3 strikeouts. Arroyo. Or Lee with 4, I beg your pardon. Arroyo with 3. And neither pitcher has walked a batter tonight. Votto in an 0-2 hole. He was the best 2-strike hitter in baseball a year ago. Not easy to do. Started 2, went around on the appeal. Maybe we were off a pitch. I thought it was 0-2 on the count.
That's exactly what I thought. I think Cliff Lee thought the same thing.
And now the umpire's letting everybody know that one of those first 2 pitches, well, it had to be the first one, fouled off the second. So 1-2 the count. And hooked into right field, a base hit.
Well, that will add to exactly what you said, his 2-strike hitting category. First pitch to Joey Votto tonight. They've all been balls. But coming right back as Lee does, another fastball. The breaking ball there is called a strike. And he goes to a slower breaking ball on the final pitch. Votto able to keep the hands back. The bat to the baseball, smokes it into right field. That is our Mazda pitch by pitch sequence.
So now Brandon, strike 1. He went around and Phillips behind in the count 0-2.
Fastball up and in. Phillips trying to gear up for the fastball to get the bat head out there. Brandon's already hit 4 home runs and was looking to get the bat head to 1 there, and it was up and in. This is the point in time, Tom, where Cliff Lee likes to elevate a fastball, either the breaking ball in the dirt or elevate the fastball up and out of the strike zone, as we saw for strike 2.
That is a fair ball down the left field line. Rattling around in the corner. Votto on his way to third will be held up there on a double by Brandon Phillips. And the Reds banging on the door with nobody out.
Awfully good back-to-back pieces of 2-strike hitting by the Reds 3-4 hitters. Another curveball. And when you're used to throwing so many strikes as Cliff Lee is, and you're not used to bouncing that breaking ball, here is 2 consecutive pitches with 2 strikes to the Reds 3-4 hitters where he leaves it over the plate.
Quick meeting on the mound. You have a left-handed batter in Jay Bruce coming up. Bruce has made contact in both at bats tonight. A single to left field back in the second inning. A fly ball to center field in the fourth. Naturally, Bruce is a left-handed batter. There is a base open. Todd Frazier waits on deck. Hitting with runners on base, it has been ugly. During the 5-game losing streak, with runners in scoring position, the Reds are 5 for 41. They have stranded 40 base runners. The middle infield, with nobody out, conceding the run. Anything hit at Young at third or Howard at first, should the runner be off on contact, will come to the plate.
This is a position where there can be no base running blunders. If you're going to break, you got to break. If you're going to stay, you're going to stay on a ground ball.
0-2 on Jay Bruce. For the Reds, it's not only been a lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. Even going back to when they won 97 games last year, often it was situational hitting. Like right now.
Now this is where you make your money and where you win ball games.
Down the left field line, and it is a foul ball out of play. Jay needs a new bat.
Jay definitely trying to stay back there, looking for that breaking ball that both Votto and Phillips got. And Lee comes in with the fastball. Fight off the ball in. Put the ball in play. It's out over the plate.
Biggest threat for either team tonight by far. Phillies had 2 on with 1 out, but they were at first and second in the 5th, and there was a double play ball. Now second and third, nobody out, no score. We're in the bottom of the 7th. May have broken another bat. He did. Back-to-back swings, back-to-back broken bats, but the at-bat continues.
Now, this is one of those situations for the Reds right now here in this early part of the young part of the season. You've had a tough road trip. This can erase a lot of bad feelings with a base hit right here. Get a couple of runs home, or even a fly ball into the outfield to get a run home. Anything that moves in the positive direction against the caliber of Cliff Lee. Gone in hard twice, Tom. He just cut a fastball away. He may come back with that curveball here.
Started 2, they appeal, no. 2-2 to Jay Bruce.
Fooled me. Hard fastball down with a little giddy up.
It's pretty apparent Lee wants to go with a fastball in this at bat against Bruce.
Well, he's gotten burned twice in a row with that breaking ball.
Well, what does he do now on 2-2? Jay waiting. And again fouls away another fastball away from him.
Jay 5 for his last 14 with this kind of situation, runners in scoring position. But it takes this kind of at bat to get that job done. It's difficult. Pitchers rise to the occasion, especially a guy like Cliff Lee.
Came with a breaking ball and it gets through. And the Reds will score the game's first run.
That went right between the legs of the catcher, Kratz. Tom, we talked about how big Erik Kratz is as far as physical stature. But when you're a big guy and a big catcher, it's also very difficult to get all of that body mass down in front of the ball to keep it from bouncing to the backstop.
Lee is really upset out there on the mound. Walking around and dropped a ball thrown to him by the umpire. Didn't want that ball. Threw it out. Now wants another one. And the infield will come in. And Jay Bruce has gone from behind 0-2, and the count is now full with the runner standing at third and nobody out.
Lee will get a wild pitch there, but that's a pitch that normally is blocked.
Boy, Bruce really battled. So too is Lee.
And there's no change in Jay's approach here. He's still got a runner at third and nobody out. The fly ball still does the job as long as it's deep enough.
This will be pitch number 10 in this at bat. Ball 4. What a good at bat by Bruce.
Tremendous.
First walk all year long by Cliff Lee.
Well, you're right,
where he was ahead 0-2.
You're right, Tom. He lost his composure there, and now Rich Dubie's going to the mound. You don't normally see that from a veteran pitcher that got that upset on a ball that heads to the backstop in a 0-0 game. But he was hot. He's still hot.
Well, look at his jaw chewing that gum. That's normally the first read on a guy when they're really fired up. I mean, he is wearing that thing out like he hasn't been all night long.
That's one of those eye-to-eye conversations that you'd like to have as a pitching coach, and you realize that your pitcher is staring right through you.
Well, now big at bat for Frazier. Still nobody out in this inning. Reds have a 1-0 lead. Inning began on a 2-strike single by Votto. Went to third on a 2-strike double by Phillips. A wild pitch brought in the first run. And after being ahead of Bruce, he ends up drawing a walk. Phillips leads the team in RBIs with 14. Frazier next on that list with 10. And making more than that on this fly ball to right center field. Tagging and scoring is Brandon Phillips, and a good job by Todd Frazier. 2-0 Reds in front.
We have seen Frazier do some very awkward things with the bat with runners in scoring position, really changing his swing, making a huge adjustment, even to ground the ball to the right side to get a run in. And there he gets inside of the ball and just lifts it into the outfield to score Phillips.
One out in the inning. Bruce at first, and here's Heisey, who's popped to second and lined out to left.
Tom, you really nailed it on the head when you talked about Lee being upset. He is still upset. Did you see the pick to first base? I mean, just a nonchalant, no-nothing throw over there. We have not seen him have this kind of body action on the mound or lack of control the entire game. Now, this is a point in time for the Reds that you really want to capitalize on a guy that's having difficulty out there on the mound. When you're upset, it's tough to concentrate.
2-1 now to Heisey. Ball 3.
It's one thing to have the good adrenaline, but when you get upset or you get mad on the mound, the adrenaline animal takes over, and then you can't get your body to do what you want it to do. And it's obvious here that that is happening to Cliff Lee.
3-1 now to Heisey. Right back to the mound. And a bouncer in the dirt by Lee. Well, you just called it, Cowboy, and we've seen it now going all the way back to the wild pitch. This guy is rattled right now on the mound.
Never set his feet. I think he was surprised that he caught the baseball. And another nonchalant throw. Actually, he never set his feet and threw the ball and tried to throw the ball too soon. You got to make this hurt if you're the Reds.
Well, the Reds are going to get action in their bullpen. Right-hander Sam LeCure will begin to throw. We're down to the number 8 spot in the batting order. And even though Arroyo has gone 7 shutout innings in this game, Arroyo already with a helmet on, bat in hand, coming to the on-deck circle. We'll see what transpires with Ryan Hanigan. Strike 1. Ryan drove a ball to the wall on a leaping grab against it by Revere in the 3rd inning. Flied out to right in the field.
And action in the Phillies bullpen as well. They've got double barrel Chad Durbin, and they've got a left-hander as well.
Jeremy Horse, a one-time Red, out there throwing. And a grounder foul, a broken bat for Hanigan. Lee has broken more bats in this inning than he's recorded out.
Well, he got Jay a couple of times, but Jay, the ultimate winner in that at bat, still standing out at second base, and you just got to hope that number 3 for Hanigan is coming right here, and that's the base hit category.
One and 2 to count on Hanigan. 2 on, 1 out, 2 in the Reds' 7th. Double play ball perhaps here. 1 and 2. Inning over. But the Reds break through, and Lee sprints off the mound. Reds have taken a 2-0 lead. Live, your exclusive home For Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing. And if that's not enough after the game itself, it's Reds Live. Reds Live. The post-game version brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
Well, this game has been played as close to the vest as you could possibly play it up until this point. And I would think, Tom, you have to manage as though this is all the runs you're going to get. I think you got to make this stand up right here, and you have to get through this inning and get the ball to Aroldis Chapman.
Well, Bronson Arroyo still out there on the mound to be facing 6, 7, 8 in the batting order. Dominic Brown, Lance Nix, and Eric Kratz. Brown 0 for 2. Pitch number 80 on the night for Bronson Arroyo to begin the 8th inning. Straight away center field, and it'll fall in a base hit. Hit off the end of the bat. So now the Phillies have a tying run just like that coming to the plate. Nix has bounced out to Phillips and singled into left center field his last time up. But Frazier playing a good 25-30 feet off the third base line. And playing even with the bag.
And I think at this point, Tom, you're playing Lance Nix as though he's going to try to jerk the ball out of the ballpark. With that being the case, that's why you have Frazier as far off the line as you do. Now, if you're Lance Nix, are you going to take the ball and try to shoot it the other way as you did earlier, or are you going to try to be a hero?
Tapper out in front of the plate. Arroyo will take the out at first. Brown on the second, 1 out in the inning. So now you have Kratz, and then we will have a pinch hitter for Lee, even though Lee is moving out into the on deck circle. And now Lee going to be pulled back, and bear with us. First time we have seen the Phillies all year long, and every player is wearing number 42.
Chase Utley.
Now him I would have recognized if I'd seen him. Not many of them, but him I would.
And don't sell Kratz short. If he catches one, this is a tie game.
Pulled foul. You know, is tonight the kind of night, Jeff, where maybe you go out of the box a little bit? I mean, you know, their number one weapon off that bench is the left-handed batting Chase Utley. In other words, why not Aroldis Chapman warming up right now?
And the thing about it is, I guess every manager is different. Everybody plays it different. I think every manager has a feel for your club. Is there a necessity to do that? Only Dusty knows.
Off the end of the bat again. Chu will get to this. And here we go. Been one of the great players in the National League for a long time. But over the last 2 years, knee injuries have really slowed him down. We are told now he looks better physically than he has in the last 3 years. Changed his entire workout regime, worked out every day playing baseball. In other words, hitting, ground balls, base running. Something he had not done for a long time. And Utley, representing the tying run, will back with a runner at second and 2 out here in the 8th.
Well, this has been Bronson's ball game, and you do not give this guy anything that he can pull out of here.
Strike one. The last 3 years, Utley has hit a total of 38 home runs. He missed the first 7 weeks last year. The prior 5 seasons, he averaged 29 home runs per year.
Chase Utley has never been a slap hitting second baseman. He is a power threat from the get-go. Good knees or not.
Utley versus Arroyo, 6 out of 19 with a home run. Three straight fastballs in this at bat to Utley.
Well, if you come in with the breaking ball, you don't want it to be something that Utley can hook. You want to make sure that you get it in so he pulls it foul.
In the air, right center field. Chu at the wall, and Utley has hit a pinch hit, game tying 2-run home run. Threw him a fastball and he hammered it. And all of a sudden, a 2-2 game.
Four consecutive fastballs, all of which were out over the plate. This one just happened to be right down Broadway.
Tell you, it's not second guessing. We brought it up at the very beginning. So you have to ask the question, and this goes back to something that was talked about when it came to Aroldis Chapman being a starter or a reliever. He has not thrown a meaningful pitch for the Reds in over a week. In fact, he's only pitched in 1 game in over a week.
1/3 of an inning.
So again, you ask yourself the question, how valuable can it be? On the ground, damage done. Home run by Utley. Reds bat in the bottom of the 8th, tied at 2. Get a Brandon Phillips bobblehead thanks to PNC Bank. Reds and the Marlins, 4 games beginning on Thursday night. 381 Reds, a number to dial or log on to Reds.com. Brandon Phillips very upset on that Reds bench. You battle, you battle, you battle all night long.
Well, there's no way in that situation that you let Chase Utley beat you. I don't care if he's the winning, if you're facing the winning run or not. You don't let that guy hit the ball out of the ballpark. The guy on deck's never hit a home run in his life.
The guy on deck does not have an extra base hit all year, and he plays every day.
Well, they'll have to get back after it if they want to win this one.
Little dribbling. Robinson trying to leg it out, and he will. An infield hit to begin the inning. Batting for Arroyo, an infield single by Derek Robinson.
Jeremy Horst got that pitch inside. He didn't hit it very well. Almost a perfect swinging bunt down the third baseline. And Darren Robinson can run a little bit. Now Chapman's up in the Reds pen.
Now you have another left-handed batter in Shin-Soo Choo, right-handed batter due up next. And Zach Cozart, then back to the lefty in Votto. And that is not a move. It's going to fool Derek Robinson, who has over 300 stolen bases as a minor league player.
And the Reds may ask Choo to bunt here.
And they do. Horst almost fell over.
Bell-tie fastball. That's the perfect pitch to bunt, and Choo makes it easy. Now you put it on the shoulders of Cozart.
Cozart 0 for 3 in a game, 7 of 47 so far on the year. Short right center field. And the ball falls in. Cozart onto second base, and Robinson, of course, had to wait to see if it would be caught. So he's at third.
And Robinson did the right thing. There is absolutely no way that you can take off in that situation after seeing the play that Ben Revere made earlier. And actually, Lance Nix was the closest one to the ball with sliding effort, but the ball just went right over the top of the glove. I thought Nix had a pretty good shot at catching this ball.
He slid by the ball. It landed behind him. It didn't land in front of him.
Went down to the ground and just didn't quite get the glove in the right spot.
So now Charlie Manuel wants to talk it all over.
So you're going to face Joey Votto, or you're going to face Brandon Phillips with the bases loaded.
Well, you've got the hard-throwing right-hander Mike Adams. So you ask yourself the question, if you're the Phillies, you want Horst on Votto, or you want Adams on Phillips?
I'm going to walk Joey Votto, and I'm going to make Brandon Phillips beat me. And that is going to be the story of this year. When you're a former MVP, as Votto is, you don't get to hit in this situation a whole lot. And if you're Charlie Manuel, you really don't have a whole lot to guess about here. You walk Votto, you play for the double play with your right-hander coming into the ball game. If Phillips does the job, hey, you got a runner at third either way.
So here comes Brandon Phillips after what will certainly be a pitching change, and here comes Charlie Manuel. So game on the line. Reds scored 2 in the 7th, gave up 2 in the 8th on the home run by Utley, and now they have a chance to get the lead back with the bases loaded and 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Mike Adams trots in for the Phillies. If you'd like to bring your group to the ballpark on the Fan Express, and why not? Call the Reds Group Sales at 765-7600 or log on to reds.com/Fan Express. It's only available in April and May. Well, the Phillies were hurt so badly last year down in their bullpen. They lost 16 games where they led in the 7th inning or later. Now tonight they're tied, but the big reason they went out and got this guy, Mike Adams.
Well, it is for this kind of situation, Tom. You want to try to get the ball to your closer, Jonathan Papelbon, who is virtually automatic. And Phillips is no stranger to Mike Adams. Adams has thrown the ball awfully well here in the early going. But Phillips, 2 for 7 off this guy's career, and he does have a home run to go with it. 7th appearance for Mike Adams, and it comes crunch time here.
Bases loaded, 2-2 game, 1 out. Phillips waiting. Ball 1.
Adams, a hard sinking fastball in on the right-handers, and a heck of a slider down and away to go with it.
Trying to come back from surgery to correct thoracic outlet syndrome. That was the same injury that cost Chris Carpenter nearly all of last year. 1-0 to Brandon Phillips.
And the surgery that you're talking about causes a lot of numbness in the fingers, down the forearm. And the only way that you can get consistent blood flow back into the arm is to have that surgery. It's basically taking out the top rib.
Speedy Derek Robinson, the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 out, 1-1 to Brandon, and here it is. Foul ball on a check swing. Phillips, a club RBI leader with 14 batted in. Number 15 here gives the Reds a lead. Inning began with an infield hit by Robinson. They bunted him to second base. Cozart a bloop double, and intentional walk to Votto. Out goes Horst. In comes Adams. 1-2 to Brandon Phillips. And a dribbler into right field. A base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Cozart. Brandon Phillips. A big time hit for the Reds.
Well, as down as we saw Brandon, and when he went into the dugout, he is elated right now. You think this team doesn't have some competitive edge in it? Well, that guy does. I can tell you that right now. That is twice now that we've seen Phillips come to the plate with 2 strike hits.
Well, you play the percentage by walking Joey Votto. But Brandon Phillips is saying just keep on doing it. That's 16 RBIs now for Brandon.
Well, that is how you get Joey Votto pitched to. You keep beating the opponents by pitching to Brandon Phillips, they will pitch to Votto.
4-2 Reds. Still only 1 out of the inning. Jay Bruce, the batter. 1 of 2 has also drawn a walk.
And let's be honest, Tom, Mike Adams had Brandon Phillips right where he wanted him. He made the pitch he wanted to make. You saw the swing by Phillips. It was off balance and still able to get the hands to the baseball and hit the breaking ball the other way. That is a tremendous job of 2-strike hitting.
2-0 pitch. Bruce letting it fly.
That's what you're supposed to do. Swing hard, finish high. In case I hit it.
And another base hit. They are going to hold the runner at third base, Joey Votto. Very impressive hitting from both Phillips and now Bruce.
Tell you, all of the talk last year about this club not hitting with runners in scoring position, I guarantee you they know it in that locker room and in the dugout, and they're trying to do something about it.
So now Frazier will bat with a runner at third and less than 2 men out for the second straight time. He had a sac fly RBI 1 inning ago. Votto, Phillips, Bruce aboard a 2-run Reds 8th inning to break a 2-2 tie. And now looking for more. 1-1. Pulled him on a breaking ball to get ahead at 1-2.
That's the same pitch there that Phillips hit into right field.
2 out.
Awfully good pitch there by Mike Adams. The 1-2 fastball just in off the plate, and he comes back with a front door breaking ball. Starts it off the plate in and breaks it right back to the inside corner, and it just froze Frazier.
That'll be Heisey with the bases loaded. 2 are out. Reds with a 4-2 lead. Batting in the last of the 8th inning. Aroldis Chapman ready to go in the Reds bullpen. Breaking ball away.
Come on, Heisey.
As he wants that fastball middle in, something he can spin on.
Instead, it's popped up. Inning over. But the Reds scored twice to take the lead. Rollins due up second. Howard due up third. And Aroldis Chapman trying to nail it down for Bronson Arroyo and end this 5-game losing streak. Time brought to you by Miller Lite. Bases loaded. 2-run single to break a 2-2 tie by Brandon Phillips, giving the Reds their current 4-2 lead.
Tell you, we have seen a seesaw of emotions. Sky high, scoring a couple runs in the 7th. Dirt low after the home run from Utley, and then sky high as we saw Phillips there. My goodness.
They gave up the 2-run home run to Chase Utley, and you know Bronson Arroyo's kicking himself, but you know, maybe tomorrow he'll have time to say, hey, look, 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. I'll take that all day, every day. And now he has a chance to win if Aroldis Chapman can nail it down.
And I would bet to a man, Bronson would flat tell you, not the guy that you want to let beat you or make beat you, however you want to say.
So Aroldis Chapman yesterday made his first appearance since the 7th of April. First time he had been out there in 7 days. Ball 1. He has been a contributor to 3 of the team's 5 wins, 1 win, 2 saves. Struck out 6 of the last 10 batters he has faced. And I'm sure they're just going to stand up there and make him throw strikes, knowing he has been so infrequently used. 1/3 of an inning in 8 calendar days.
And when you're down by 2, that's what you have to make a closer of the opposition do. You've got to make sure he comes out throwing strikes, especially if you're the first batter.
Short left center field, and Heisey with a running grab. That's a nice play made by Chris Heisey. Not a hard hit ball, but those are the kind that fall in. Then you're going, oh my goodness.
Got a great break on the ball. And for a moment, I thought that ball was going to get to the ground before he got there. And not only was Heisey able to get to it, he was able to get to it without leaving his feet.
Now Jimmy Rollins, switch hitter, turns around about right-handed, 0 for 3 from the left side against Arroyo tonight. One and one. Arroyo, the pitcher of record for Cincinnati. For Philadelphia, it's Jeremy Horst. Slider in the dirt. 2-1 on Rollins. Goes without saying, you got to really make Rollins earn his way on here. Howard has had more than his fair share of trouble against left-handers through the last number of years, but he still can hit the ball out of any part. And he's on deck. 2-2 on Rollins.
And I think that's the case with anybody that's hitting ahead of a monster power hitter like Howard. Even when the matchups don't look great, Howard is the kind of guy that if he runs into one and you're on base, it's a tie game again, and you don't want that to happen.
2-2 to Rollins. Foul away.
Boy, Chapman can dial it up when he wants to. He just jumped from 96 to 100 like that snap of a finger. And I'm talking miles per hour.
See you later. Slider at 90 miles an hour.
Not where Chapman wanted that pitch. But when you have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, that tells you how soon the hitter has to get started. You don't know whether that ball's going to break over the plate or hang right there.
So now Ryan Howard. 1 hit in 14 at bats so far this year against left-handed pitching. Gas, 99.
And that is where Chapman needs to stay. Do not go down in the zone. That is the place where he can catch the baseball. Howard is a low ball hitter. Stay up just above the belt. He'll swing.
Strike 2, 100 miles per hour. Wow. That's even fast in slow-mo.
That's when you know he's feeling it.
Strike away and out away. See you later. 100 miles per hour to put the finishing dagger in the Phillies. And the Reds' 5-game losing streak is over as they come back to Great American Ballpark. Get clutch hitting from Brandon Phillips in the 8th. Outstanding starting pitching by Bronson Arroyo. 4-2 winners to begin this 10-game homestand.
Anytime you can pick up a W with a game that Cliff Lee is starting after 5 in a row. Whether you win or lose those 5 in a row, it's always a happy day in Reds land.
And a happy day it is. Oh, happy day.